Here we have banks failing in the United States, banks failing in the United Kingdom. Some of the regional banks in Germany had failed. It was unclear that the markets would even open on the Monday, and we better deal with this. And that's a sobering conversation.
French Finance Minister Christine Lagarde admits anti-American feelings were running high.
Ce qui est certain, c'est que les dérèglements financiers à partir d'un marché, le marché américain, et qui a son origine dans une bulle immobilière considérable, a déréglé l'ensemble des circuits financiers et a précipité l'ensemble de nos économies dans le monde en situation très difficile.
The reaction of the Europeans is, for the most part, is very aggressive, very accusatory of the United States. You caused this because you let Lehman Brothers fail. I didn't think it was particularly useful. I mean, and I pointed out to some of my colleagues that a lot of the European banks were leveraged at 30 to 1 and 40 to 1, so they couldn't really be too critical of investment banks on Wall Street that were leveraged the same way.
The G7 finance ministers met President Bush the next day at the White House. He acknowledged that the United States bore the chief responsibility for causing the crisis and promised that the U.S. would change its ways to help clean up the mess. The finance ministers left the White House with a new plan that was agreed to by all G20 finance ministers, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund.
So by Saturday night, everybody in the financial world that had anything to say in government or in the central banks had endorsed the plan. I think actually that's quite positive news in terms of world government.
Former Canadian Prime Minister Paul Martin says world leaders were struggling with how the game of international finance had changed.
The best example, I think, in many ways is, is this person buys a house in California, pays twice as much as he can afford and twice as much as the house is worth on the basis of the value.